Adam Schiff built his career hyping a conspiracy that collapsed under its own weight. He paraded fake dossiers, promised Russian collusion proof, and dragged the nation through endless impeachment theater. But when the spotlight finally turned, even his own allies began circling like sharks. Bill Maher wasn't about to play nice. Schiff expected a friendly chat, but instead, Maher ambushed him live. With the audience hanging on every word, Maher ripped into Schiff for wasting years chasing Trump while ignoring real crises, like COVID exploding under the radar. The gasps and laughter weren't supportive, they were mocking. Schiff froze, exposed as a one-trick pony with no answers on healthcare, immigration, or inflation. And then came the knockout. Maher blamed him for squandering America's time on political theater while the country burned. Schiff's polished image crumbled on stage, and the demolition was brutal, hilarious, and unforgettable. We were talking about the virus in green rooms, but you forced us to talk about impeachment. That line hit Schiff like a hammer, and he had nothing. No comeback, no defense, just a shaky smile and a stumble that made the silence louder than words. Greg Gutfeld piled on, torching Schiff for being so blinded by hatred for Trump that he ignored a pandemic unfolding in real time. His punchline was savage. What kind of leader chases impeachment while lives hang in the balance? Schiff had no answer. Maher and Gutfeld became a tag team demolition crew, one slicing with wit, the other pounding with sarcasm, leaving Schiff cornered, bruised, and exposed. The cameras caught it all. The awkward shuffles, the forced grins, the dead air. This wasn't just a roast, it was an unmasking. For years, Schiff dictated the narrative, but now the script had flipped, and under the merciless glare of live television, he became the accused, mocked, and ridiculed. The irony couldn't be sharper. Adam Schiff walked into the studio expecting a cushy interview. What he got was a public roasting that torched whatever credibility he had left. By the time Bill Maher moved on, Schiff looked like a man who'd just been run over by a freight train. His defenses flimsy, his answers hollow, and his composure shattered. Instead of speaking with conviction, Schiff fell back on tired cliches and overused talking points. The audience wasn't buying it. Every stumble, every awkward pause, every forced grin only confirmed what Maher was drilling into him. Schiff's grand evidence had collapsed into nothing but smoke, mirrors, and wasted years. The crowd erupted, not with support, but with mocking laughter that cut deeper than any headline. Watching from the wings, Greg Gutfeld poured gasoline on the fire. He ripped into Schiff as a bitter showman, more obsessed with avenging Trump than actually leading. His barb was ruthless. While Americans were dying and hospitals buckled under COVID, Schiff was parading impeachment hearings like they were Broadway matinees. That single image, patients gasping for air while Schiff mugged for cameras, was devastating. Maher then twisted the knife by dragging Schiff's Senate ambitions into the spotlight. With a smirk, he joked that Schiff's campaign would fuel moving truck rentals as Californians scrambled to leave. The crowd howled, Schiff cringed, and the humiliation deepened. When pressed on hot-button cultural issues, he waffled and dodged, too timid to take a stand. The audience groaned, sensing weakness. Maher delivered the kill shot. This is exactly why people choose Trump. At least he doesn't hide. And just when Schiff thought the nightmare couldn't get worse, Congress handed down a formal censure, etching his disgrace into the record books. Once the self-proclaimed crusader against corruption, Schiff now stood as the punchline, a politician burned by his own theatrics, mocked by the public, and exposed under the merciless glare of live television. Adam Schiff thought he could walk into Bill Maher's studio and control the script. Instead, he walked into a firing squad. Every attempt to explain himself fell flat. He stumbled, he stalled, and the more he spoke, the deeper he buried himself. What was supposed to be a polished interview turned into a brutal spectacle that stripped away whatever reputation he had left. Maher didn't just press him, he cornered him. He brought up the House censure, a punishment so rare it instantly reminded the audience that Schiff's name was now etched in infamy. Schiff's body language betrayed him. Stiff shoulders, darting eyes, that nervous smile that looked less like confidence and more like a man bracing for impact. The audience could smell the weakness, and they laughed at him, not with him. Then came the avalanche. Maher mocked his endless obsession with Trump, his recycled talking points, and the phantom evidence that never materialized. It was like watching a magician finally open his box only to reveal there was never a trick inside, just emptiness. The crowd's laughter turned sharp, the kind of laughter reserved for realizing you've been conned. Greg Gutfeld added fuel to the fire, branding Schiff a political performer who wasted years chasing shadows while America faced real crises. His words hit like a hammer. Schiff wasn't a leader, he was a sideshow act. Every exaggeration, every false claim, every grandstanding moment collapsed under the glare of live television, and Maher twisted the knife further, tearing into Schiff's Senate dreams. With devastating wit, he painted Schiff not as California's savior, but as another empty suit chasing the spotlight. The audience roared, applause, laughter, even groans of disbelief as Schiff shrank smaller and smaller on stage. By the end, the humiliation was complete. Schiff, once paraded as a warrior for democracy, stood exposed as a man who built his career on theater and deception. Maher had demolished the illusion in under an hour. Schiff wanted to be the accuser. Instead, he became the accused, roasted, ridiculed, and stripped bare in front of millions. That's the cruel twist. The man who made a career out of exposing others was finally exposed himself. And this time, there was no escape.